Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Henrique, and now we are watching What is New in Excel with Elisabetta Caldesi. She's a program manager on Excel team whose focus is images in Excel. So let's start the video.
Hi everyone, my name is Elisabetta and I am a product manager on the Excel team. I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. Today in this session, we'll talk about what's new in Excel. So I'll try to cover some of our newest features that we have just released. Mind that some of these may only be available to the Insiders program, as we are still rolling them out all the way out to production. A little bit about me. I've been on the team for 3 years. I have worked on different kinds of things. I worked on data types, stocks and geography, and Wolfram data types. I've worked on templates, especially for data types. Now I currently work on images in Excel. So to give you a brief overview of what we'll talk about today. First off, we'll start with a little bit of focus on the web. Excel for the web is something that we have heavily invested in the last couple of years to make sure that the experience is just as strong as the desktop experience. So first off, I'll show you a video that gives you an overview of all the great things that we've built in Excel for the web. And then we'll jump right into a new feature called Check Performance. Then we'll jump into features for Mac, where we have Power Query on Mac. Power Query is a feature that already exists on desktop and that we brought to both web and Mac. So I'll play a video that gives you a bit of an overview about all the possibilities of Power Query on Mac. And then lastly, we'll talk about functions in Excel. I'm really excited about this one because it's something that I personally work on, which is the image function. The image function is currently only available to the Insiders program, and it lets you insert an image into a cell instead of having an image floating over cells, which is a new concept that we've introduced into Excel. And we've heard your feedback about you put these floating images on top of cells, but they're not actually in the cells. You can't use them when you, for example, if you have a table with images, they don't resize with the table, they don't move around, you cannot reference images in formulas, you cannot have images return formulas, formulas return images. This is a great new capability that we've added, and we are continuing to build on it for new scenarios as well. So especially if you have feedback on anything that I am going to cover today, please let me know. But especially images in Excel, because it's something that, as I was saying, I personally work on. And then lastly, we'll cover the new Excel functions that enable you to manipulate text arrays, reshape arrays. There's 14 new functions that we've added for that. So we'll go through them. But yeah, let's start with a quick demo, a quick video of everything that we've done on Excel for the web.
Excel for the web exemplifies the evolution of one of Microsoft's most successful web products. What began as an app used for consumption, with files open in View by default, has become a full-featured modern spreadsheeting experience. Millions of users rely on the power of Excel in their work. Excel for the web brings this power to the browser. With Excel for the web, you can access your spreadsheets on any device from anywhere and collaborate with your colleagues. We've made major investments in Excel for the web, focusing on performance, reliability, authoring, and collaboration. We are now supporting faster workbook loading, smoother and faster scrolling, and cell selection. Now you can work with larger, more complex workbooks that support faster calculations. Files are now open for edit by default, So now you can get your work done with familiar Excel features such as writing formulas more easily with colored cell references, formatting data with cells and table styles, highlighting data with conditional formatting, and applying data validation to cells. Choose between either the classic ribbon or a modern, simplified ribbon with all the functionality. Get insights with BI and data analysis features. For example, analyze your data with the new and improved pivot table experience. Co-authoring lets you work simultaneously with your colleagues on the same cloud workbook, so you can see their changes update in real time. Use Show Changes to see any edits made to your spreadsheet. Leave comments and at mentions. As we continue to improve Excel for the web, you'll see the newest and most innovative features on the web first. Try Excel for the web to explore all these features and more.
Awesome. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope it was insightful. Now I'd like to move on to check performance on Excel for the web. So check performance is a feature that allows you to improve the file performance by reducing its size. Basically what happens is that sometimes over time, a workbook can collect cells that have no data, but still contain hidden information of little or no use anymore, such as formatting, for example, where the cell doesn't have any data anymore, but the cell has formatting. So formatting is taking up space in your file size pretty much. And having too many of these cells that don't have data but contain formatting can really slow your workbook down. So what check performance does is that on file load, it'll detect those cells and will let you know that there is a way to clean up the file. And then we'll give you an option either to go through all the cells that check performance has identified, or just choose to optimize them all. So now I want to quickly share a quick video with you about check performance. So coming back to us, now I will be moving on to Excel for Mac, and I'll share a video about Power Query on Mac.
I'd like to show you a demo of the Power Query capabilities, which will soon be available on Excel for Mac. Power Query is a strong tool, allowing you to import data from various sources and clean it for easier consumption. Power Query has been available for a while on Excel desktop, and we've completed some significant milestones towards releasing it on Mac. Our goal is to provide the same experience as Excel desktop to allow an easy transition. Our journey starts from the data ribbon up here, and then this section, Get Data Power Query. Now notice there is a drop-down menu with some quick actions. For example, you can launch the Power Query editor, but we'll get there soon. Ideally, you'll start your journey by pressing this button, Get Data Power Query. This will open a wizard-like experience. The first step will be to select the data source you want to use. You can load an Excel workbook, text files, and so on. We keep adding data sources over time. In this example, we'll use text files. Now we'll go and look for the file I want to use. So here I have a list of 3 countries. Basically, each file is a list of diving locations in that country and the number of shark attacks in that location over the years. So I would like to combine all these files to find the safest diving location so I can have a safe holiday. Now, I previously loaded Australia and South Africa, and now I'll add the last country, USA. I'll press it and then get data, press next, and now I can see a preview of the file. Now you can see there are a lot of nulls and duplicates and so on, so I want to clean the data. To do that, I will press transform data. Otherwise, pressing load would just load the same data to the Excel grid. Now you can see the file opens in the Power Query editor. Now again, this is exactly the same editor as Excel Desktop, same capabilities, same view and so on, to help your transition be as fast as possible. Now you can see we have the 3 tables here, but the other tables have one more column. And one more thing, you can see they have a nice set of headers. So first thing, you can see here the headers are not in the first row, and it's something I would like to do. So I can go to transform, use first row's headers. And now I popped all the headers up top to make it look nice. And now I also want to add a column that has the country name like the others. So I press add column, custom column, give it the same name as the others, and give it the respective value, which is USA. I can also move it to be at the beginning of the table. Now you can see that all 3 countries have the same structure. Now I would like to add all these tables into one table so I can get all the insights from one table and clean all at once. Now I will go to Home, Combine, Append Queries, 3 or more, and I'll add the countries to be together with the previously selected one. Now I have a table called USA, but it's actually not just USA anymore because I appended all the countries together. So I'll give it a meaningful name. And I'll put the other tables aside. Press new group. Now I can move these up here. And now all countries will be my main table. And I will perform all my transformations on this table. So I can go and sort it alphabetically. And that will help me see that there are some values that I would like to filter out because they start with signs or spaces and so on. So I'll start with cleaning this data, go to transform, format, trim. Also format and clean. So now I got rid of all the excessive spaces. In addition, you can see we have some locations that start with signs and numbers and maybe they're not meaningful for me. So I can press here and decide to filter them out. Now if I go down a bit, I can see that I have some duplicates, like this row. So in order to do it, I can just go and look at the relevant transformation for me. In this case, I'll go to remove rows, remove duplicates. And now I'll get rid of all these duplicates. In addition, maybe I can decide that there's too much data here. I have data from many years, and I only want the last 3 years. So I can select all the years I don't want, press remove columns, and that's it. I won't see them anymore. Also, I can see that there's some nulls here, and those are not numbers I can work with. So I can choose to replace these values. Transform, replace values, and replace all nulls with a 0. Now, all the columns here are numbers I can actually use. Now, one last thing, I can see that the table looks pretty nice, a lot nicer than it was before, but it's not sorted in the best way for me to try and get insights from. So what I can do is press unpivot columns. Now you can see that they've become rows, and now I have for each location, country, location, the year, and the number of attacks. I just need to give it a meaningful name. So here I will write year, and here I will write attacks. And now the table looks great, and I can load it back to Excel in order to use a pivot table to get the insights. So I'll press Home, close and load. And this is my nice table that I loaded here. I can press Insert, Pivot Table. Pivot table will take data from all the countries, and I will choose to load it to a new worksheet. Now I just need to select the fields I want in order to get the data. So I will take attacks here, and here I can see the sum of all attacks. But maybe I want to find a specific area or location or country. So I can take the country and put it here. And now I can see that South Africa has the least amount of shark attacks, so that is where I'm going on vacation. Thank you.
And now we'll change this to the last option, which is custom size. And that one lets you choose height and width. So 100 by 100, for example. And that is what the image looks like. So yeah, this way, as you can see, the image sits in the cell. So you can shape it based on how wide or tall the cell is. And because it is the cell value, you can use functions like XLOOKUP to get an image back. And you can use images pretty much for anything. You could have them in a table and you can sort and filter, and the images will move with the rows that you're filtering out and columns because they are part of the cell value. Currently, as you all know, you can insert images through I just went to the insert tab, but as you can see, images are floating over the cell. So it's definitely a big change that we've added because you can put the image wherever, but it does not belong to any cell. So yeah, feel free to try out the feature. Again, it's available on all platforms, but it's only for the Insiders Program users. If you like to try it out and you're not in the Insiders Program, you'll find information online on how to do that. It's really easy. It takes like 2 minutes. And I think you just have to go into File, Account, and choose there to sign up for the Insiders Program. And the Insiders Program is only available on desktop and Mac, Windows and Mac. Awesome. And then we'll move on into the last topic of the day, which is array functions. So we've added actually 14 new array functions, starting with text before, text after, and text split. These 3 functions are used to play with text manipulation. So text, what's after the first space? Let's say text after, I select the text, which is here, and then I do space. And it says after the first space. What's before the first space? Text before. There you go, once. And then split words into separate cells, text split, where we select the cell, and then we say space. And here we go, we have an array of all the words into that sentence, which is pretty cool. Then moving on into array manipulation functions, we have VStack and HStack. VStack lets you stack arrays vertically. So let's select our first array and our second array. As you can see, it puts the 2 on top of each other. And then HStack stacks arrays horizontally. So in here, I kind of condensed them together. Yeah, and then let's move into shaping arrays. we have 2 column, 2 row. Oh, sorry, let me stay here. So we have 2 col, 2 row. I cannot type. Wrap col and wrap row. So 2 col returns the array as 1 column. So if I select this, you see it return in 1. And then 2 row returns the array as 1 row. And then we have wrap col, which wraps a row or column vector after a specified number of values. So let's say after 2, and as you can see, it wraps them around. And then similar as wrap row, here is my array. Then I choose 2. So, and here is, it's called wrap rows, not wrap row. Sorry. Cool. And then let's move on to the last set of functions which are used for resizing arrays. So we have take, drop, choose rows, choose columns, and expand. So we have take, drop, choose rows, choose columns, and expand. So equals take, returns rows, columns from an array, start or end. So let's choose this array. We say 1 because the array is 1 row. Otherwise, if we had said this, it would have just picked the first column. Drop. Drops rows or columns from an array start to end. So let's say I want to drop from the second. And then we have choose rows. Returns rows from an array or reference. So if we pick this, we want to return row 3. C. And then if we do choose columns, from here we want to return row E. And then lastly, we have expand, which lets you expand your array pretty much with some padding. So let's say I want to add 1 row and I want to add hello in it. Oh, sorry, I want to make it a 2 row. There it is. Awesome. Yeah, so this was pretty much it for the session. I hope it was insightful to see all the new things that we've added to Excel. And yeah, let me know if you have any feedback, and please try out the features. And thank you again for listening to me today.
Thank you for joining us in this session. Please tell us how pleased you are. Click by this link here or via QR code. Unfortunately, Elizabeth is not here to answer the questions, but if you have any questions, please send us through this link.